This one's gonna be a bit of a paradox. That's okay. I am 9 years into business. I've never owned a business, bro. Leaders are readers. I read a lot of books, man. I got a whole library of almost 500 books. I try and share and regurgitate the information learned in those books to provide some value. Reference 𝗦𝗦𝗦𝗢𝗡 Revised, the cash flow quadrant. 9 years into business, I've never owned a business. I've only ever, legally, on paper, I've owned a business. I started a company. I'm making money through what the venture does. Fine. I've never actually owned a business. I've only ever operated a business, which is way worse, dude. I've been self-employed. Way worse. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I only started owning a business 4 weeks ago. Not even really, because here's what I'm differentiating. When you're an employee, you're W-2, you just have a job, you get off, you're done, you're done. Go spend the rest of your time however you want. You just chill. There's no mental fatigue or drain on your mind of this gotta get done, A, B, C, X, Y, Z. You're done, you're off. When you have a business, that modus operandum doesn't exist. There's something to do at all times. Every waking moment of your existence, there's something to do. The problem is, you degress so much when you jump from the left side of the cash flow quadrant, employee, over to being a business owner operator. Because now you wear all the hats. When you start the business, everything is you. Everything is you. You don't have employees. You don't have anyone to help you. You probably don't have the money, the cash flow, to hire and delegate. So it's you. It's all you. Now, you're doing the job of 20 different people. Every day something's falling through the cracks. This is so much worse than being a W-2 employee. It's mental torture, dude. Because you have these expectations of yourself to do all this stuff, and it's genuinely impossible. Genuinely impossible. No one person. You're an individual. You're one person. Time is a limited resource. Every day you wake up, you have X amount of time depending on when you wake up and when you go to bed. You can't do all the clerical work that's necessary and all the executive work and all the action steps. It's not possible, dude. You gotta delegate eventually and quickly. You don't have the cash flow for it. When you're operating in a business, you've now just effectively become a slave to the system you built. It's worse. Because when you're just a W-2 and you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're a slave in the matrix, 100%. 100%. You've sold your soul for X amount of dollars an hour. That sucks. You can escape. The problem is the escape route means you now have to become a slave in a matrix of your own design. You built the company. You said, I'm gonna do this. Now it owns you. How terrible is that, bro? It's actually an L. Only 4 weeks ago have I hired help after 9 years in business to be able to delegate and automate some stuff, building my Jarvis AI assistant, as well as an actual tangible physical assistant that I'm passing off workload to. My PQOs have gone up. PQO stands for prolific quality output. It's just a fancy business term for what I'm able to manage and get accomplished in a day. They went up well over tenfold, to be expected. It took me 9 years to do that because every business, think about a business as just like a cog, a series of cogs. It's just a bunch of systems. Every single time, 100% of the time, at any point of scale, as you grow and grow and grow, you are going to become the obstacle. You are going to be in the way. You cannot do it all. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying you can't run a business. I'm saying you can't do it alone. You're gonna try to do it alone. You're gonna continually hit a wall because it's not possible, because there's too much to do for one individual. I only recently started owning a business, owning and operating. The difference being I'm working on the business, not in the business. Okay, in the business is I'm my copywriter, I'm my marketing specialist, I'm my social media manager, I'm the scheduler, I'm the brand correspondence guy. On the business is I go employee A, I'm delegating this task load to you today. I will accomplish this by the end of the calendar day. That will help you in the means of accomplishing what you're doing. We'll overview, we'll review everything, how we got it done. We'll iterate and improve from there. We're building systems so that more can get accomplished with less labor. We're dividing the mental and clerical task load among many people. We're operating more as a manager instead of a guy that's wearing 17 different hats. You take one hat off, the copywriting hat, you move over to the content distribution hat. Then you take the content distribution hat off, and then you move over to the creative hat. You start filming stuff. It doesn't work. You're going to become your #1 impasse very quickly in business. So that's a skill. It's a new skill you have to learn to get into a managerial role instead of an executive and like an executor role. Stop executing, stop working hard, start working smart. The problem is cash flow is a limiting factor, time is a limiting factor, energy is a limiting factor. You have to knock down these impasses one by one and build out the system that's going to allow you to do all those things. Sheriff. This is not good. Something happened over here. Less than ideal. This sheriff probably thinks I'm following him, which is not great, but I really don't want to pass him because hypothetically, AI content, I don't have a plate on this bike, which makes me a criminal. Hypothetically. All hypothetical. I don't even own a motorcycle. All my content's AI. Get out of your own way. If you want to build a successful life in business, you just gotta get out of your own way. Build systems that operate outside of your direct energy expenditure. Otherwise, you've just become a slave of a matrix of your own making, which is really actually genuinely worse than just having a job and then being off and then doing whatever you want. So take that into consideration. And yeah, ooh, sick R7. I love you. Bye.